Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today it's episode 19 of Know Your Author series, and today we have with us Saher Jaber. She's an author, she's a publisher, she's a mom, and let's find out more from Sahar herself. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And today's episode 19 of Know Your Author series, and today we have with us Saher Jaber. She's born and raised in Hamilton, Ontario. She completed a double honors in sociology and communications. She resides in Lebanon, where she's enrolled in Islamic studies. She started her own publications company known as Figs and Olives Publications, where she has recently published her first book titled But Why is the Hijab So Special? Which aims to educate and inspire young females about the hijab. The main goal of the publishing company is to provide a reliable educational resource for parents and children to build an Islamic foundation from. Her goals and aspirations in life are to empower the Muslim generation through literature and knowledge. Welcome, Sahar.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor.
Oh, it's great to have you. I was looking forward to talk to you. So we want to know more about you. How does your day look like in this pandemic from 1.5 year? How it has impacted you, in a positive or a negative or a mixed way?
That's a nice question because definitely after COVID, everything changed 180 or 360, whichever way you look at it. So we were in Canada for about a year because of COVID, but we always resided in Lebanon. So now we're back in Lebanon and it's been great so far. Typically, my day just consists of waking up with my son, dropping him off to his daycare where he can have a lot of fun. Yeah. And then I just start getting to work. I have my research award with McMaster University that I'm currently completing in regards to Bill 21 Quebec legislation against the hijab, against Islamic clothing. And so I work on that. And at the same time, I'm working on my second book. So there's those two at the same time.
There's a lot ongoing, that means.
Exactly, yeah.
To keep you busy.
Yeah, and then you
Tell
have
us
cooking.
more about your childhood. How was the child, Sahar? Where was she as a child? Did you grow up in Canada?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Canada. So I lived throughout my whole life in Canada. We came a couple of times to Lebanon. So I remember coming for 1 year for kindergarten. I came for grade 5 here in Lebanon to school. But as a child, it was majority was in Canada. I went to a public school, so it was all Canadians. And the school that I went to, it was only me, my sister, and another girl that wore the hijab, no one else. So, it's the Canadians around you are just really confused as to why you wear the hijab, and they haven't integrated it into their school system whatsoever. So I always remembered feeling left out. I always remembered being different. I remembered not being able to be a part of the community because, they have dances, they have those trips where they sleep a night out of their homes. And of course, as a Muslim family, my parents would never encourage me. And I'm so glad that they never allowed me to integrate with them. And so I always remember as a child feeling I was let down by the education system. And growing up, I knew that was something that I had to work on in the Canadian education system.
That's great. That you are working to fill up that gap.
Yeah, it's important because a lot of the times we think that the gap can be filled by one person. If one person is writing a book, then I don't have a role to write a book anymore. If one person is providing some financial needs or providing a sustenance to the community, I don't need to do that role anymore. And that's incorrect. To fill the gap, it can't only be me, it can't only be another author, it has to be a collective.
Yeah, it has to be a collective effort from every
Exactly.
side.
Exactly. So yeah, I contribute as much as I can to the gap. But I don't know if I would say I fill the gap for sure because it's a it's a big
It's a
gap.
big gap, but every effort counts, I would say.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
it's like maybe sometimes it feels it's too small in the big picture, but then
Yeah,
when the big picture, you will see how it will fit eventually, inshallah.
exactly, like a drop of water in the sea.
Yeah. But inshallah, that drop of water will become
The
river
ocean.
and ocean, and you will see
Yeah,
it growing. It's just that you started this publishing company and with one book, and you will form your own tribe, and people will associate with you, they will know you, and they will come to you.
inshallah, that's the goal.
Yeah, inshallah. So tell me, which is your favorite genre or the books that you like, or.
Personally, my favorite genre and books were always, of course, fictional. I would say. I just love it. I love the way fiction is made. But with writing books, especially with the book "But Why Is Hijab So Special," I really wanted to make sure that that everything that's in the book is almost like the characters working through it, the readers working through the book, and so they're living in the book. Um, so yeah, there's a bunch of genres. I remember as a kid, my favorite author was Nicholas Spark. I don't know if I'll encourage Nicholas Spark because it's all romance and the female protagonist always dies in the end. But as a kid, as a young youth, I always enjoyed Nicholas Spark for sure.
And now,
Now it's just Islamic books that I read
yeah.
at this
Yeah,
point.
it changes always, and you're always,
Exactly.
growing out of those books.
Yeah,
Like there was a
definitely.
time I really read a lot Paulo Coelho,
Okay.
and I was like, I used to wait when his next book is coming and read it, and now
Yeah,
it's like I feel I have outgrown them.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
maybe
Like,
it's more for young adults or
yeah,
those high school or. But
yeah,
yeah, for me now as an adult, I don't feel fit
yeah, no.
enough.
Like my favorite current book is Peace Be Upon Ibrahim. So it's I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's about a martyr, Shahid Hadi Ibrahim, and they talk about his life and how he lived his life. It's just synopsis of other individuals speaking about him. It's not him speaking about himself at all. And it's the most beautiful book because it changes your perspective on life completely. It's no matter what I want to do, I always think, okay, I could relate to this martyr at this point. Like, okay, what did he do at this time? What's something that he would do? And it's really encouraging. And I feel that's what books are supposed to do. It's supposed to make you reevaluate your life and reevaluate your thoughts
And
in a
also like a guiding force when you need them.
yeah, definitely.
Because once you have read the book and you are in a situation, you will remember what happened in that book and what that character did, and you can,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, especially.
So that's nice to know. Let's talk about food since you are in Lebanon and
Food,
I'm an
yes.
Indian. What is your favorite food or drink?
Favorite. Honestly, I'm a like whoever knows me knows that I'm a big foodie. I love food. I enjoy food. Food is just my comfort
Yeah,
place.
yeah. For me also, it's my comfort, and
Exactly.
especially I think when you're
Yeah.
writing, you need some sweet things as well. Brain food. I call it brain
Yeah,
food, the sweet things.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I love all food really. Like hamburger, parfait, carrot cake, everything. Honestly. My husband always makes a joke out of me because every single time I eat something good, I always tell him, "Oh my God, this is the best." And he's like, "You've said that at least 200 times. Like, you always say this is the best." And I'm just like, it is. Like for right
But
now,
it's
it's
like when my husband he cooks something and he wants me to taste it, and I
yeah,
have to tell him that this is the best one so far. For every time there's something, and it's like it's the best. Then the last time you ate, it's the best so far. So
that's
that's
great
what
that
he
he
said.
cooks. So I'm really
Yeah,
glad
yeah,
to
he
hear
likes to cook as
that.
well.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's nice. So we both cook and we both share and we both like to
Yeah.
feed each other. But
That's important.
sometimes it's difficult also because there is no one who is regulating or controlling. Because the other
Oh,
one acts like, the devil that, okay, if someone tries to regulate and control, okay, let's go there, let's eat this, and so
yeah.
it's hard for us to regulate and control. But
I could
these days we are
imagine.
trying to a bit, control.
Yeah.
So that's happening to us right now. And our son, he doesn't like to eat at all. So it's like completely opposite of us. Maybe when
Yeah.
he grew up or grows up in future and
Maybe.
then he will like the food. But for the moment, it's like when he see the food, he runs away.
Oh, that's very funny because you were saying that we have the same age kids,
Yeah.
a child. But my son's completely different. Like right now, any food in front of him is he's devouring it, like nonstop. And it only happened when we came to Lebanon, so a couple of weeks ago. Before then, he was very, yeah, running away from food, just like you're saying. So
Ah, okay. So
maybe,
maybe it's like they grow of that phase
uh,
after some
yeah,
time.
maybe it's a growth spurt soon. And
Yeah. But he loves sweet things. So even if he's
okay.
too hungry, you offer him food, he will cry, he will not eat it. And he will wait until the moment when our heart melts and we offer him a pudding or something. Otherwise, he's ready to go to bed hungry.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like if
really
he will just look at the food and no, I don't want to eat this.
oh, that's very difficult.
And then he asks for a cake or a candy.
Yeah.
But he knows that we don't allow him, so he will come to my ear and say, Mama, candy.
That's so cute. May
So
Allah protect.
yeah, so that's how. But we are hoping for the time when he will love food and eat food. For the moment, it's like, I mean, the only stress we have for him is the moment that he doesn't eat well. Otherwise, he's very happy and, like
Yeah.
a good child.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah. That's great to hear.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah. So tell me more about your publishing journey. How did it started? I mean, the author came first or the publisher came first?
That's a nice question. So when I was pregnant with my son, um, well, actually, before that, I've always loved books. I absolutely like just felt a huge connection with books. I've loved the idea of reading endless books and just putting time towards it. And I always analyzed how, even as a kid, I always analyzed how the author would have wrote this book. What was the author thinking when they wrote this book? And what were they feeling and how they worded it. And I always focused on she said and he said and those things. So I like to focus on the etiquettes, if you might say, of the books. And then, so that was always a goal of mine forever. To
So growing
eventually,
up, you wanted to be a writer and author.
well, I had too many passions that I wanted to do. Ever like pinpoint that I wanted to be an author or a writer, but I always knew that I would love to go into literature. Um, So, like, if you asked me as a kid what you want to do, I would have told you I want to be a director, I want to be an actor, I want to be an astronaut. I was that type of kid that wants to do it all. And then when I got pregnant with my son, I never knew the gender, but I knew I was pregnant. And I felt like so disappointed that there wasn't any proper book out there for me to actually teach my child Islamic foundation, and at the same time feel like I can trust the book and I can trust the author and everything. And so I personally found it something that I have to do. Like now it's mandatory on me to actually provide a book, to provide society with a book, because every single individual has to understand that they reach an age in their life where they become responsible to give back to the community. They become responsible to give back to the society. Even if the society is not asking you necessarily to do it, you have to find your role or your purpose to give back to society. And I've personally found it that, well, I have knowledge of Islamic studies, I have the ability to write, I love writing. And so why don't I write a book? And at that time, I felt like it was the most uh, important conversation I can have would be about the hijab, because the hijab is so let down by the Muslim community with our children. Our children are not taught properly about the hijab, girls and boys. And so when you look at, but why is the hijab so special? Instantly some people might think that, oh, it's a girl's book, but no, it's actually made to be read by girls and boys at the same time, so that boys themselves can learn why it's important for their sister to wear the hijab, why it's important for their mother, or why it's important for their future wife to wear the hijab. And so I felt like it was important that I needed to contribute. And so I started writing. I wrote the book in literally 2 days. My son was sitting beside me in his car seat. I was just writing it, and I just endlessly wrote it. After writing it, I'm just like, okay, but now what do I do with it? Like, I have a book. I wrote something. What do I do with it? I started contacting a lot of publishing companies. And I felt like, the publishing companies, they have a lot on their hand. It's not easy to publish a book, and it's not easy for the publishing companies to believe in you to publish your book. It's really difficult because it's very expensive to publish a book, and it's very expensive. It takes a lot of work and a lot of labor to actually get that book and get it out there. And so at that point, I'm just like, well, I don't really have a lot of options with publishing companies. Why don't I start my own publishing company? And
But
so
at
that's
this
really
point, a
where
lot
I
of
started
authors they
looking
go for
into the.
self-publishing mode, like they will use Kindle or those kind of options. There are some companies which give you an option to go publishing, but it's like you sponsor everything. But I'm glad that you had another
Yeah.
idea, to have your own publishing company.
Yeah, exactly. Because I tried looking into some companies like Ingram Spark or Amazon Books. They will publish your book for you, but they will take a huge amount of royalty away from you. And honestly, authors in general don't make much money. I can't make a career out of
Yeah.
being an author or a publishing company. I can't. I actually have to work a second job so that I can afford to do this. And so I actually consider this just a charity work more than actually a career. However, I have to treat it like a career because it requires that much work from.
Yeah, it requires a lot of work. That's true.
Exactly. So,
Because I started this show also, but it needs a lot of work and energy and everything. And then
and
sometimes, yeah, it's hard to keep up the focus and things. So, yeah. But it's like also,
no,
you need that kind of platform where the Muslim authors can showcase their work, and people should know
yeah,
immediately, that where I can find the authors. Okay, let me go and check this show or the
yeah.
platform where we can find everyone.
No, I absolutely love the platform that you provide. It's just a beautiful opportunity for authors to have a moment of, speaking about their passions and
Yeah.
for people to personally get to know them. So I really do applaud you for taking the energy and effort to do it.
And that was the idea behind, what are you contributing to the society back? And
Exactly.
so it's
Yeah.
not always about money or anything, but it's like for your own satisfaction also, what are you doing as a person, as a human being, as a Muslim? And
Yeah.
which I felt like, okay, there are some writers which made it big, but not everyone gets that kind of, press or publicity. And then you
No,
have to build your own platforms for it,
you do. You do
Yeah.
have to build.
So, but I met amazing sisters, mashallah, from everywhere in the world who are like publishers like you, who started with this idea of publishing. And then they write Islamic children's book also. I think there are some of them are in US, and they also wrote about the children's books for the hijab, because they felt there were some incidents that happened, and they were, they wanted to write about it. And also
Yeah.
a lot of authors that I know, yeah, there are a lot in children's Islamic books they're writing.
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like for the longest time, no one was doing anything, no one was publishing anything. And then all of a sudden, now you can see that so many books are coming out, so
But
many
it's
publicists.
great. It's
It's
great. That means
amazing.
there is a demand. People are looking into the books. People are buying, and then we need it. We need
Yeah,
diversity. We need a lot of books where like shelves of children's book where people, kids, they can choose
yeah.
from.
If you go to a library and you tell them, you just want an Islamic section, there wouldn't be enough books for an
Yeah.
Islamic section because unfortunately there aren't that many books. And so, no, we do need to publish. We do need to get our books out there and figure out how to like make it more mandatory.
No,
Yeah. So
really. I mean, that we need. And also, I think there needs to be work done to reach to the brick and mortar, because right now everything is online, so you need to reach to the brick mortar stores, and kids can see their, those books there actually, and other kids also, it's like everyone has to read each other's books, to become more open and to accept each other.
Yeah, that's very, very true.
Yeah, because for us, we know that, okay, hijab is important and they will read, but we need to know, like the other people, Canadian people, for example, in your case, they need to know why it's important for them to wear the hijab. And they should have a respect, like, an acceptance. But that will come, when you work on the base level. It's not like you pollute the mind of the children when they're young. And then when they grow up as an adult, you tell them to be very open and, to accept everything. You create a confusion in their minds then, it's like for 20 years you told me it's bad, and then today you are telling me that it's okay, which I see, in young people, they have that kind, or the old people also, like they were grown with the media with that thing that hijab is oppression, and all of a sudden there are Muslim women who are saying we embrace hijab, we love hijab, so they look at you like a weird thing, it's like there's some problem with you.
There is, that's what they definitely do that.
But it's also, I don't blame them. It's what media has created from past 15 or 20 years for them, They're just normal people who read newspaper or watch TV.
Yeah, and a lot of the times it's like if you were to look at the understanding with the Quebec and Canada, when they made the legislation to go against the hijab and ban it in public sectors, they didn't even consult or interview one female Muslim, one, before actually discussing whether or not it was oppression or whether or not it's something. They just immediately thought this is a religious symbol. We don't want our community to be impacted or influenced by religious symbols, and so we have to ban it. But like if the community actually wanted to learn, all they really need to do is ask one Muslim woman, and instantly she'll tell them, I'm not oppressed. I'm doing this out of worship. I'm doing this out of obedience to God. No one's oppressing me. But yeah, unfortunately, a lot of the times it stems as well from people willingly not wanting to educate themselves as well.
Yeah, I mean, I feel sometimes so absurd that, you say that it's a developed country and everyone is free to do what they want, but not everyone is as free as everyone.
Exactly.
There are less free and more free people.
That's beautiful. That's exactly it.
So we are those less free people who are restricted in public spaces, or, like you cannot do everything that you want.
Yeah.
It's same what's happening in France also, at the moment.
Yeah, because Quebec follows everything that France does.
Yeah.
And so once upheld this legislation, Quebec instantly followed.
Oh, yeah, okay. So it's coming from there.
Yeah.
It's coming from my neighbor.
Yeah.
So do you have a message for your followers and readers of this book, or do you want to read a passage from the book for us?
Yeah, sure. So I don't know. I'll try and find a small passage to read. But let me just see here. I guess there's this part over here that I could read, and it says that Sister Kauthar touched Leia's shirt. Leia, what if I were to borrow a clean, tidy shirt from you? How would you want me to return it? I would want you to return it in the same way I lent it to you. Well, what if I returned the shirt with a tear and a dirt stain? I'd be very disappointed. I probably wouldn't lend you anything anymore. Sister Kauthar laughed. I wouldn't blame you. She placed her hand on Leia's shoulders. You see, Leia, Allah lent you this body to use in this dunya. And when you die, he wants you to return this body just like he gave it to you, pure. Leia was surprised by Sister Kauthar's words. I always thought I could do anything I wanted with my body. So does that mean it's as if I'm a guest in my own body? Yes, we're all guests in our own bodies. Your hands do as you tell them because Allah has given you the blessing and ability to control them. The hijab is just that. It is a blessing given to us by Allah to help protect us, stay pure, and return our bodies to Allah the way they were given to us. Yeah, so that's a
I
small
know
pass.
it's wonderful. At least it give you an insight into the book, you know.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Thank you.
And do you have a message for the viewers?
Definitely. For the viewers, it's always if you have a dream, and if you say, I want to do this when I grow up, or I want to do this, or I'm thinking to start my own business, don't share that idea with people around you. Don't share that idea with a lot of people. Keep it to yourself. Share it maybe with one or two people that you fully trust. But just act on it, do it secretly, work on it, and then get there. And then surprise them, because a lot of the times we believe in ourselves and we believe in our idea, but we can be on the fence. And when someone, discourages us, even if it's a little bit, even if they tell us, it's really hard to do that, it's not that easy, we're going to feel discouraged. And so do it, try your best, put your hopes in Allah, make sure your intention is pure, and act upon it. And inshallah, Allah will guide you and get you to where you want to be, where you need to be. But we're all capable to do incredible, amazing things in this world. And so don't ever think that only they can do it and I can't do it myself. We're all fully able to really make an impact to society, even if it's a little bit, even if it's big, whatever it may be. So yeah, thank you so much for having me on your platform today.
No, thank you so much. It was a wonderful, amazing message. My husband, he always tells me this because I like to talk a lot. And like I'm doing this and I'm planning this, and then something happens, or yeah, as you said, it's very
Yeah.
normal that people can discourage you, or you feel slowed down or something
Yeah, it's
happens, and then
normal to
you're
feel
like, yeah,
slowed down.
like
Yeah.
I told you.
Inshallah, you'll achieve everything that you have your mindset to.
Inshallah. I mean, I wish the same for you,
Thank you
that
so much.
you get a lot of success in your this plan and this endeavor, and we have
Inshallah,
many more collabs in the future for your future
of course.
books.
Inshallah, I would love that.
Yeah, so thank you so much.
Thank you again for your time.